Okay, again for a newbie looking at doing lock bumping. If you look at a rim cylinder here, you'll see these dots across the top. That's where the pins are inside the lock. If it was a Euro lock, you'd see the same sort of thing again. When it comes to bumping, you want to line your key up so it sits like that. So each peak on the key sits just before each pin inside the lock. So when you bump it, the key jumps forward, throws the pins upwards, and then as they drop down and it reaches the shear line, you can turn the lock open. So if you're using something like this, which is like washers or dampeners, you put them on your key and you space your key out. Now I've got the dampeners on there, the washers are all on there, and you can see by looking at that in front of the lock it's set perfectly now. So if I take a washer off, now I'm sat too far. If you look at this end one here, it's now into one of the pins, so it's not going to jump the pin. As soon as I add the washer again and line it up, you'll see now that it's all set perfectly again, which is how you want to be setting your locks, same whether it's a Euro or a rim cylinder. So we'll just turn this straight now, so hopefully you'll be able to see the pins in action when I try and bump this, although it is hard to get it to sit still in that vise. So when we put the normal key back in, you can see we're at the shear line. So the idea is that these pins are going to jump up as you bump, and as they drop back down, as you meet this shear line here, with light turning pressure, and I mean very light, less than you would use in your own house, turning an house key in the door, a lot less pressure than that, turning very, very lightly. As the pins drop down and you reach that shear line, your lock will open if you're lucky. Now it's difficult from this position I'm in here, but I am going to try and bump this so you can see the pins yourself actually jumping. Of course it's going to make me look stupid as usual, so I've got light pressure on the key. I'm using a Brockhart's bump hammer. Now as I do this, the way I'll do it, I'll do a gentle tap, then I'll gradually increase the tapping, like you just heard then. The reason I do that is each tap you might need a small amount depending on how the key sits in the lock, the correct key. With a bump key, because you don't know how it's pinned inside the lock, a gentle tap might open the lock, or you might need a bit more of a tap to lift the pins higher to get them up above the shear line. So if you look with just the bump key in, it almost looks like 3 of them are at the shear line already. The end one definitely isn't. So the end one is the one, in theory, you're going to have to try and raise up. You wouldn't know that if it was fitted in a door though. There you go. Didn't take too long, and that's the lock open with a bump key. Yeah, as soon as they reach the shear line, it's open. So that's your standard bumping with some washers.